you. Head over to DisneyDreamersAcademy.com to apply now. Now, GU editor Deshawnda Brown sits down with Trinitee Stokes and they get candid on how to ask for help. Yes, don't worry, we've all been there before. So check it out.
Thanks, Rochelle. Up next, we have an incredible conversation with the one and only Trinitee Stokes. She's an entertainer. She's an international speaker. And quite frankly, I wish I was her when I was younger. So without further ado, please come join us, Trinitee.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. You know, blessed. I'm breathing. I'm happy. I'm happy that you're here. So thank you so much for taking out the time.
Yes, my pleasure. I'm so excited that I get to do this just in time for back to school.
Absolutely. Speaking of back to school, like you're doing it, like you're doing such incredible things. You're making history. You're literally putting my younger self to shame because I really wish that I was doing everything that you were doing when I was younger. I want to know first, how did it feel to make history as the youngest person to ever be accepted into Emerson? That's huge.
Yes, it felt really amazing. Like the photos from when I opened my acceptance letter are pretty interesting. It's so amazing. And when I committed to Emerson, I didn't exactly know that I was going to be the youngest person to be accepted to Emerson. I kind of thought about it, but it took a minute for it to be confirmed. But I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to overwhelm myself or try to cloud my brain, but just stay focused on, the things that got me accepted into Emerson and just maintaining that along my journey there.
And also, it said that you'll be studying politics. So what influenced your decision to want to study politics? And what would you say is your dream career if you could pinpoint one?
Yeah, so what inspired me to, fall in love with politics and specifically political communication is really the quarantine and, about a year or two before quarantine, because I really got a chance to look around and notice how much politics really impacts our daily lives and notice how the way that politics is communicated or miscommunicated can really change people's lives. And, that's something that I'm really passionate about. And I love the way that politics works and being able to create laws and being able to change people's lives. But I also love communicating, and I always knew that that was going to be a part of my college degree because I just couldn't stand to not learn anything about communication. But political communication is something totally new for me, and I can't wait to continue learning about that. But my dream, career alongside my entertaining career would definitely be to work for the United Nations. So I want to be a UN ambassador or something of the sort. So I can't wait to see, where my degree takes me.
I'm excited to see where it takes you too. And you also mentioned quarantine. You know, that really did shift the way that a lot of us approached work, whether it's us working from home or going to school. So what was it like for you to readjust and really shift your working schedule in the midst of working from home?
Well, it wasn't too difficult for me because I've always been homeschooled. So none of my school classes or anything like that changed. But it did definitely take a minute to adjust to not being able to go anywhere or not being able to just, oh, let's go out and do this. Let's go out and do this after I finish with my classes for the day. So it did definitely sort of put me in a hot box to be able to learn how to create my own fun in the house and be able to learn how to do things virtually with my friends. So it just kind of just burst my creativity in a different way.
And overall in your academic career, you know, you've definitely fast tracked. Like you are definitely one of the most intelligent, talented young women that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And I'm sure that a lot of people can say the same about you. So what would you say were some of the most difficult parts of pushing the fast forward button on your academic career?
Well, I guess I didn't really know that I was going to push the fast forward button on my career until last August. But getting up into this point, I think the hardest part for me would definitely be like geometry and algebra 2. And so it was so tough for me at the beginning because it was not quite quite clicking, but it really took a minute for me to just humble myself and finally agree, like with my mom, to say like, okay, let's go, let's get some help, let's go find a private tutor, so that way I can take the time to be able to learn what I need to learn and not kind of just just sweep past it, so that way I can keep going. But I'm so grateful that I decided to take the time to work with someone to be able to expand my knowledge, in the mathematics area, because it definitely paid off.
And you mentioned your mother, and a lot of people usually go to their parents or their friends or any type of other trusted adult in their life for advice about how to stay on track and really manage. So, what would you say was the best piece of advice that you've ever received about balancing your academic life, your personal life, and really trying to make sure that your mental health was put first?
I definitely think keeping a schedule. So my mom definitely drilled in me, keep a schedule, write it all down, keep a schedule,
Mhm.
write it all down, keep a schedule. So for me, I think at first I was like, I don't need to keep a schedule. I'll be able to keep it all in my head. But once I started working on my regular classes and college classes at the same time while filming, it definitely became a lot to juggle, just simple things like due dates, and just making sure that I was getting all my work done and turned in on time. So keeping a schedule for me and writing everything down is like so important, because when I don't write things down, or if I don't keep even like a loose schedule, even during like the summer, the day just melts away and falls apart.
I'm definitely the same way. I can say for myself as a writer, I've always been somebody that needs to write stuff down. Like a lot of people I know are very into their phones. They can take notes on their iNotes or their calendar, but that doesn't work for me, especially as somebody who tries to be as unplugged when I'm not working. I
Mhm.
try to make sure that everything is written down on all my planners. Like I have a book, I have a regular notepad, I have a planner on my fridge. So I totally feel you. Do you feel like writing stuff down and kind of like helps it to be etched in your memory a bit more?
Yes, writing things down, it definitely helps me like remember, because when I type things down or like write notes on my laptop, it doesn't necessarily sink in as much. So
Mhm.
I definitely overuse my printer. So I'm always printing things out, highlighting things and taping them places, or I'll even do like sticky notes on my phone or like sticky notes on my mirror.
Mhm.
So I'm always having things written down. And it also helps that I like pens and pencils, so it kind of makes it a bit more fun for me.
And we're also here to have a conversation about how to ask for help. Oftentimes, at least I can say for myself, when I was younger, I felt like I couldn't ask for help because I felt like asking for help would make me look weak, or it looked like I couldn't do something. So when was the moment when you realized that it's okay to ask other people for help?
The moment I realized that it was okay to ask other people for help was when I asked for help with tutoring. I asked for help and it just opened up my mind. I asked for help, I received it, and it just made me so much better at the skill that I need help with. So I think the thing that is really important to keep in mind when it comes to asking for help is that you actually look so much stronger when you're able to ask for help, when you're able to identify a weakness or pinpoint something that you're not as strong in, and take the time to work harder at it and be able to strengthen it. So I think that's something, just sort of reconstructing the idea of asking for help instead of making it look like something that's demeaning, just seeing it as what it truly is, which is sort of a strengthening mechanism.
And we know that asking for help obviously goes beyond academia. It goes with friend advice, it goes with family advice. Asking for help can be so multifaceted and so multidimensional. You can ask for help in so many different ways. So, what advice would you give to our young GU audience about asking for help?
I would say when it comes to asking for help, no matter what your topic is, ask someone that you trust and ask someone who is excelling in that area, or ask someone who has already gone through something similar, so that way they can give you firsthand advice. And, especially make sure that it's coming from someone that you trust, because you don't ever want to feel uncomfortable sharing your personal information.
And also, before we go, it's important to be retrospective and really look inside yourself as well. So when somebody comes to ask you for help, what would you say are some of the key things that you need to do to be a good listener and a good friend to the person who's asking you?
I personally, when it comes to me, because I definitely had to work on being a good listener because I love to talk. So the thing that I really had to grasp is if you aren't sure, just ask questions. And especially if someone is telling you a lot of information that you really need help with to be able to guide them properly, is don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to let them know that I'm not sure if this is going to work for you, but this is what worked for me. Because I think that's the important part, is even though you're going to ask advice from other people, you also have to know that that's them in their situation. So take what worked for them, adjust it to your personality, your lifestyle, and your situation, and then just put it all together, and you'll have some information that you'll be able to use.
Incredible. Trinity, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. It was an absolute honor. I wish you all the best in your academia career. I'm pretty sure you're going to be our next president one day. I'm just waiting on it so I can elect you in and I can vote for you, sis. So I'm so excited to see everything that you do next.
Thank you so much. This was a blast.
Thanks, DeShonda.